Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Be sure to check me out over on Rumble. There you'll find all of my stuff from YouTube, plus my political and social commentary and weekly current events, which YouTube frowns on. Links to my Rumble channel, as well as my other YouTube channels, and links to let you order my books are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video on villain ideas. One of the most important parts of any campaign is the villain. I've done videos on the different types of villains and what they bring to your game. I've done suggestions on different villain types to use in specific scenarios and situations. The choice of villains, their backstory, their place in the world, etc. These are all important in the grand scheme of your campaign. But which villains to run? What kind of villains? What would be appropriate for your game? The choices are vast and almost limitless. Let's narrow them down a little bit. I like to look at the type of civilizations in the world. City-states are generally less advanced than nations, much as a BC Iron Age or Bronze Age people are less advanced than medieval people. Okay? So it just depends on the kind of campaign that you have. A less advanced villain, an ancient cult or a barbarian horde, for example, will either need to remain hidden within the realm or position themselves someplace remote and secluded from the realm. They have to be either... The way barbarians survive is they're not in the realm. Cults would have to hide within the realm. If a cult becomes big enough and people know about it, and it's opposed to the general, what do you call it, the established religions in the kingdom, yeah, it generally doesn't last. So cults are probably going to have to remain hidden, like a secret society kind of thing. A more advanced villain can be a secret society hidden within the realm or one of the ruling elites of the realm. One of these things, what I'm talking about here, you got to realize there's a lot of overlap. Okay? Examples of less advanced villains could be, for example, the cult of Rakenkar, kind of a spider cult with lots of secret spies feeding info to the secret hideout. The cult of Boar, a bear cult who sacrifices humans by tying them to a pole in front of a giant cave bear's den. The cult of Canis, a cult of assassins worshipping a cat god. A barbarian horde, as I said. Things like that. The cult of an evil deity whose followers take over a city for the human so they can have plenty of people for human sacrifice. A group of pirates, slavers. Although in less advanced areas, slavers are going to need some political allies. Slavery either has to be legal, meaning there's slave pits and there's auctions and things like that, or it's going to have to be slavery from another kingdom, and people here are capturing people to go over there to sell them, that kind of thing. Examples of more advanced villains could be, for example, the evil duke who seeks to overthrow the wise and good king. I did videos on coups and rebellions. Go check that one out. An evil wizard seeking to find an artifact which will allow him to control a powerful monster or demon. A king corrupted by an evil cleric seeking to turn the realm into a theocracy dedicated to that evil deity. An evil political figure using a network of spies and assassins trying to turn over the rule of the realm to a hostile neighboring kingdom. An evil wizard with spies and other operatives within the realm in high areas who seeks to rule the world. You see what I'm saying? There's lots of varieties. There's lots of different things that you can do. In my game, I run a mix of all of the above. I usually have 4 to 6 major kingdoms, at least one large empire made up of several smaller conquered kingdoms, and 12 to 24 city-states in the fringe areas. I set up the general basic governments and resources along with a rundown of the major and minor political figures, as well as their military types and strengths. A mountainous region probably wouldn't have a lot of cavalry. A coastal region is going to need a navy, that kind of thing. But don't forget those unexplored wilderness areas. Got to have those. Otherwise, what's the point? Your guys have to, your players have to go your players have to have a place to go and explore. If it's all explored, what's the point? But then, city adventures can be fun too. Especially if they get thumped by the guards for a crime they didn't commit, they have to escape, and that's always fun too. I mean, there's literally the variety of adventures in Dungeons and Dragons is literally limitless. I mean, it's you can do literally anything, and I mean that literally. I said that a lot, didn't I? Anyway, after I get all that done, then I set up a few dozen villains throughout the land, usually at least 2 per kingdom and city-state, and at least 4 per empire. These can be any of the ones I listed above, or whatever else I fancy. I make sure to write out the major figures in each, their motive and purpose, their size, their general armament and funding, and their overall organization. Using this basic format, I'm ready for whatever direction my players decide to go. I've talked about this before. I learned this lesson the third time I set up the adventure to the north and my players headed south. That is, I hate it when that happens, but that's very, very common in Dungeons and Dragons. You sit for 3 months and you plan out this wonderful game. It's got the underground and with the drow and the orcs up above and blah 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 blah. You got the whole thing mapped out. You've got everything set for them to ready to go explore. And it's the entrance is south of the kingdom, and of course the first thing they do is go north. No matter what clues or whatever you give them, there could be an army of rampaging barbarians being led by an ancient huge black dragon to the north, but damn it, they're headed that way. Using my format, you start them somewhere in the middle. There's an adventure any direction they go. This format not only gives an abundance of villains to choose from, but it also allows you to adjust the level of the villains to tailor them to your group of player characters, because the more your players adventure, the higher level they'll get. That's the general theory. And so if you set up all your stuff as 3rd level bad guys, and then they get to be 9th level, bad guys are pretty pitiful, pretty chintzy. So yeah, you have to be able to adjust your bad guys. That's all I'm saying. Now keep in mind, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to run their game. All I'm doing is trying to share my wealth of experience with those newer dungeon masters. Feel free to use, abuse, change, or ignore anything I tell you. And remember, if your players are having fun, you're doing it right. That's the only main rule. The primary rule. If your players are having fun, you're on the money. Right there. Running a game is a labor of love. And the more prep you do ahead of time means less ad-libbing and improv you have to do during the game. When I set up a campaign, there's a lot of work involved. I have, right now, 4 maps drawn out. I have cities, I have kingdoms, I have city-states and kingdoms. I have at least 1 empire, and I have a bunch of unexplored territory on each map. All I have to do is insert villains. Yeah, this game is in my blood, and I will never stop playing. I'm going to be in a nursing home in my 90s, getting the other residents to play. Yeah. Anyway, I hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. Clarissa Lowe, a historian from the future. Delmore Kane, a Civil War veteran turned outlaw. This oddball pairing faces a conspiracy of epic proportions spanning the centuries. If you like action and adventure westerns with a splash of science fiction and fantasy, check out my book series Drifters and their ongoing adventures. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment.